Hello designers, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Abimbola. So in today's tutorial, I'll be learning how to draft a long fitted pencil skirt with a well contoured butt, giving that very smooth transitioning at the butt area to the hem of the skirt. So this tutorial is beginners friendly, and if this is what you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of the tutorial. Please do well to subscribe to this channel, also like, share the video and turn on your notification so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Now let's get right into the tutorial. So for tutorial purpose, I'll be making use of a pattern paper. Please note that you can draft this pattern directly on your fabric. And these are the following measurements needed for the draft. So the first thing I did was to get my starting line. So from the top of the paper, I came down by 1 inch. And at the 1 inch mark, I went ahead to roll out my straight line. So this line will serve as my starting line, which is the waistline. So from the 1 inch mark, every other measurement will be taken. So the first point I took was my hip line, which is 8 inches. And I also went ahead to take another extra 2 inches below the hip line. So the next line I will take now is my waist to knee. So for my waist to knee, I marked 19 inches. And then I went ahead to rule out all my straight line, that's the hip line, the knee line, and also the hem line. Please note that for the waist to knee measurement, you are not making use of your exact waist to knee. um let's assume your waist to knee is about 22 inches and you take out 5 inches. This means that your waist to knee, the new waist to knee, will be about 17 inches. So whatever you have from your exact waist to knee measurement, just go about deducting 4 inches or 5 inches to get your new nail line. So this is where this is the point that will serve as your new line for your draft. I hope we understand this. I also went ahead to divide my pattern paper into two to have the block to work with. So now I'll have the front block and the back block by dividing this into two. So I'm taking the same measurement I took at the top line, also at the hip and to the hem of the pattern paper. So I'll rule out this point, and here I will have my block for the skirts pattern. And now I have my front and my back block created on my pattern paper. I'll go ahead now to label my lines. So the top line will serve as our waistline. The 8 inches mark we came down from the top line will serve as our hip line. The 2 inches below the hip also will serve as the hip line, but I will show us how to go about it. Then the 19 inches mark will serve as our knee line, and the edge of the paper will serve as our skirt length, that's the hem of the skirt. So my pattern paper was not enough. I went ahead to join extra paper at the hem of the initial paper. So what I'm marking now is the hem of the skirt, which is 44, and then I'll go ahead to roll out my straight line. Sorry this is not showing, but that was exactly what I was doing at this point. So I have the hem of the skirt marked out, and I also went ahead to add extra 2 inches allowance to serve as our folding for the skirt. So I went ahead to label that part the hem line. So now all our points have been labeled and marked out. So the next thing now is to take our waist measurement. This waist measurement will be taken on the waistline. I went ahead to divide my waist by 4, and I had added 1 inch extra allowance to serve as our dart allowance. So that was what I marked at the waistline. On the hip line, I'll go ahead to divide my hip by 4, and then I'll mark what the answer is. I'll also mark the exact hip divided by 4 that I have. I'll mark it on the 2 inches line below the hip line. So I went ahead to connect my waist to the hip line like so. So after connecting my waist to the hip, I also go ahead to connect the 2 inches line below the hip line to the hip line itself. The essence of this 2 inches mark is to have a smooth transitioning along the hip line. So as a beginner, you might actually use a curved ruler, and you find out that most times after sewing your skirt, you have this extra curvy bulge at the side of the skirt. So to eliminate that gaping, to eliminate that bulging at the side of the skirt, just go down by 2 inches from your hip line and then connect it like so. So on the nail line, I deducted 1.5 inches from my hip line to get the measurement needed for the nail line. So after deducting 1.5 inches, I connected back to the 2 inches below the hip line. So the essence of deducting 1.5 on the nail line is to have a fitted measurement around the nail. So the 1.5 inches deducted from the original hip measurement and taken on the nail line will help shape the skirt properly. So your skirt will be properly shaped at the nail. So whatever you have on the nail line, extend the same exact measurement to the hem of your skirt. Exact measurement, the same measurement you used on the nail line, extend it to the hem line. Please note that if you don't want your skirt too shapy or too fitted, you can actually deduct 1 inch from whatever you have on your hip. So whatever you have on your hip, let's assume your hip measurement is 10 inches, just go ahead to deduct 1 inch and then use the 9 inches you have left on the nail line. This will also help you shape your skirt, but it won't be as fitted as deducting 1.5 inches from the nail line. Some persons even go ahead to deduct about 2 inches. So this all depends on how shapy you want your skirt to be at the end of the day. I hope you understand this analysis. So the next thing to do on the front pattern now is to take our dart. So for the dart, you go ahead and mark your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 and add extra ½ inch allowance to it. So from that point, I'll also mark ½ inch to the right and ½ inch to the left. So from the middle point, which is our nipple to nipple measurement, our bust span divided by 2 plus 0.5 inches, I'll go ahead to connect that line to the hip line. So that's the middle line which we connected. So for the dart length, I'll go down by 5.5 inches, and then I'll connect from the 5.5 inches to the 0.5 inches on the left, and also from the 5.5 inches to the 0.5 inches on the right. So with this, we have created our darts for the front pattern. So for the back, we have all our lines extending from the front block to the back block. So we have the waist, the hip, the nail, and the hemline. I also went ahead to label our center back. All our measurements will be taken from the center back. Please note that. So the first thing to do here is to take our waist measurements. So the waist divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch for the dart was taken on the waistline. So I went ahead to mark that point. So next, on the hip line, we'll take our hip measurement divided by 4. So note that all the measurements is starting from the center back. I'll go ahead to also mark my hip divided by 4 on the 2 inches line below the hip line. Then I'll connect the waist to the hip and also the hip line to the 2 inches line below the hip. So for my back pattern, for the nail line, there's a little twist. Remember that from the front pattern, we took 1.5 inches from the hip measurement. So, but for the back, we are going to take 1 inch. So like I said, let's assume the hip is 11. For the back, you will go ahead and minus 1 inch, which is 10 inches. And this 10 inches will be taken on the nail line. For the front, go ahead and minus 1.5 inches. So that's the difference in that case. I also do well to extend my measurements taken on the nail line. I will extend it to the hem of the skirt. So now I'll go ahead and take my darts. But for the darts for the back pattern, I would be eliminating these darts, but I just want us to see what I am doing so that we don't get confused as beginners. So I'll go ahead and take my dart measurement just the same way I did for the front. I'll repeat the same thing on the back. So after taking the dart for the back, this is what I have. Like I said, this dart will be eliminated. So we are going into the process of eliminating it now. So for our back contouring, that's for the zipper side, there's a need to contour the butt to give it that curvy shape. So this contouring actually starts from the zipper side. So from the center back, I will take 1 inch. That's the exact 1 inch. So this 1 inch was the 1 inch that we actually added to the waist measurement when taking the waist measurement on the waistline. So all I did was just to draw out the dart to show you that a dart can actually exist on the back pattern. But for this draft, we are actually making use of that 1 inch as our back butt contouring. So I'll connect the 1 inch to the hip line. So now I'll go ahead to clean off our darts, the initial dart that was created for the back. So as it is, the dart for the back has been eliminated and we no longer have a dart for our back skirt pattern. Now on the new line, I will go in by half an inch. So for that point, you can actually do half an inch, you can do 0.75, you can also do 1 inch to shaping the butt. So the shaping starts from the nail line. So I'm doing half an inch because remember that on the front block I took out 1.5 inches on the nail line, and for the back I took out 1 inch on the side. So I'm taking the remaining 0.5 at the center back. So it makes a total of 1.5 inches deducted on the nail line for the back, and also 1.5 inches deducted from the knee line for the front block. So for this front and back, we have a total of 3 inches, and for the whole skirt, we have a total of 6 inches deducted from our hip measurement rather, and used on the nail line. So you can go as well as the 6 inches. Some people do 4 inches. Some go as far as 8 inches just for this butt contouring and shaping. So it all depends on you, how fitted you want your skirts to turn out, or how free you want it to be. So for me, I'm using 0.5 inches at my center back, and I'm connecting that line straight to the hem of the skirt. Now we have our center back shaped. So I'll go ahead and take our zipper allowance. For this skirt, I'm using 1.5. So I'll follow through the exact shape we have at the center back. I'll follow through that curve. Take 1.5 inches on the waist. Take 1.5 inches on the hip. Also take another 1.5 inches at the 2 inches below the hip line, and then I will also take 1.5 on the knee line. I'll follow through the exact shape that we have at the center back, and then I'll take this 1.5 inches to the hem of the skirt. So I've gone ahead now to create the zipper allowance for the skirt, and this will also serve as our slit for the skirt. So this is what we have for the back pattern, and this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead now to cut out what I have, and I'll show us what it looks like. So for this hip line and the 2 inches below the hip line, please do well to use your cuff to smoothen that part out. In the process of cutting, I actually did that. So but for some persons that might not find that convenient, please use your cuff to just do a little blending at that part, and then cut out your pattern. And then for the center back, also do well to maintain that butt contoured shape you have at the center back. Follow through that line. Follow through the shaping you have at the center back, that's the zipper allowance, and then cut through. So this is what the back looks like. I also do well to cut out the 1 inch at the top of the paper. After cutting, this is what my front and my back, this is my back pattern actually, and this is what my front also looks like at the end of our draft. So I will do well now to my pattern has been transferred to fabric. now, and I went ahead to add the sewing allowance at the side of the skirt. So this is my front pattern on fabric. I also went ahead to cut my back on fabric and also the lining for both the front and the back. Thank you so much for watching today's tutorial. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.